Hello, nerds! Nerds for humanity. It has been a while. Um, I haven't been on for some time for a few reasons. One is that, I'm still recovering from the outcome of the election. It's kind of surreal that Trump is back in office, but here we are. The second thing is I've been busy. I did a little bit of traveling for the holidays, and then been a little busy at work actually. But we are gonna get back into it with this channel because I know we still have channel members who kind of support the operating costs of the channel and are encouraging me to keep going, despite the fact that we have to live through former years of 4 more years of Donald Julius Trump. Hail Caesar, right? Yeah, what a freaking. I still can't believe that man who tried to overturn his election defeat somehow is back in the White House. Thanks a lot, Biden. You really did a great job there with your whole transitional thing. Any rate, so for today's episode, probably going to be, I'm saying it's going to be on the shorter side. I don't know. It might not be. I don't know. You know how I kind of run on when I get fired up, but we're going to go over and react to one of Trump's first videos after getting elected that I've reacted to, which is his press conference in Mar-a-Lago. I mean, before we get into that, let me just tell you the fact that he's politicizing the whole fire situation in LA is just so unbecoming. Like, imagine if you worked at a company and one of your divisions was like in a crisis. I got no problem with the CEO chewing out the VP of that division privately, or maybe even, in a small internal audience with other senior leaders. But to do so publicly and to ignore the root cause of extreme weather and say, oh, this is all about environmental protection policies of California. I know, like, that is part of the MAGA cinematic universe talking points, because I have MAGA members in my family who are just constantly saying, oh, look at what Newsom did. Or, by the way, like, what kind of president of a developed country, of any country, makes up like junior high insulting names for governors of some of the largest states in the country? Like, to call Governor Gavin Newsom Governor New Scum as the president-elect of the country that he said he was going to unify after he's already won. He's just such a piece of crap, man. There's no other way to describe that guy. I mean, we all know he would never be given any kind of position of authority if it weren't his own family-owned business or some business that requires him to be the spokesperson. Like, could you guys see this guy running like Ford or General Motors or JP Morgan or Chase or, you name it, Tesla? Like, really? The guy would be a disaster. But here he is, president of the United States. So let's kind of do a little react, and then hopefully, people will enjoy it. Are we talking Hunter? Are you serious? Yes, we're talking about Hunter Biden's laptop. Oh my God, that's crazy. All right, let's watch it together. All right. Here's our guy, and I think you're going to get audio.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be with you. Many things are happening that are exciting.
This is the leader of our country for the next 4 years. Just look at him. Freaking him and Biden, man, they should both be on some golf course.
Very exciting for our country. And we're honored to welcome one of the most respected business.
Okay, this is where he likes to roll out these announcements of people making investments. I think this has been discussed the last time he did this when he was president. And a lot of these investments were already likely going to happen. And he just kind of takes credit for it. So we're going to skip past that.
Because everyone's afraid they're going to come in and get caught in the quagmire, which is what a horrible place. One of the things we're going to do is we've got to fix it. Inflation is continuing to rage.
Okay, so he says inflation is continuing to rage. So let's do this. Let's go to Google. Sorry, U.S. inflation over time. The U.S. inflation rate. Here we go. Okay, now I'm going to play you what he said, and then we'll look at the data.
Interest rate, inflation is trying everything they can. Situation from the outgoing administration, and they're trying everything they can to make it more difficult. Inflation is continuing to rage, and interest rates are far too.
Inflation is continuing to rage. Well, here's the data. It is true that U.S. inflation was incredibly high in 2022, 2.5 years ago, at 9%. That was a very high. Then it went down to 8.5 in July of 22. Then it went down to 8.3, then 8.2, then 7.7, then 7.1, 6.5, 6.4, 6, 5% in March of 23, 4.9, 4 in May of 23, went all the way down to 3% in June of 23, went up July 3.2, August 3.7, September 3.7, 3.2, 3.1, 3.4, all the way down to 2.4 in September, 2.6 in October, 2.7 in November. Who here thinks this is inflation raging? This is why the guy lies so much that everybody's become numb to it. And they're just like, oh, like my MAGA brother was like, oh, I heard inflation is raging out of control right now. And I'm like, what are you talking about, man? Like, where are you getting your information? Maybe it's from this freaking guy. Okay, let's continue. This piece of work.
Too high. And I've been disappointed to see the Biden administration's attempt to block the reforms of the American people and that they voted for. We had a landslide election. We won every swing state. We won the popular vote by millions and millions of people. Nobody even knows how many people, millions. And they're still counting in some areas. They're still counting the vote in some areas. Can you believe this? What a place. What a horrible place. One of the things we're going to do is we've got to fix the election so that we get honest counts.
Okay, now this one, I think he might have been true, but we'll just double check. He said he won the popular vote by millions and millions. Let's see. Let's see here. U.S. POTUS results. We'll share. Okay, so he got 77.3 million and she got 75. So he beat her by 2.3 million out of a total of about 160 million votes cast. So he got 2 million more in an election where 160 votes were cast. And then let's listen to what he says.
People and that they voted for. We had a landslide election. We won every swing state. We won the popular vote by millions and millions of people.
So when you say millions and millions, does that sound like 2 million to you? Millions and millions? I don't know. This guy, like, you just, anything he says, it's just either partial BS or complete BS.
Nobody even knows how many people, millions. And they're still counting in some areas. You know, they're still counting the vote in some areas. Can you believe this? What a place. What a horrible place. One of the things we're going to do is we've got to fix the election so that we get honest counts and they get done by 10 o'clock in the evening or something thereabouts. There are places where they're still counting votes.
Oh my God, dude. How much
President
longer
Biden's
is he going to
actions
talk about this election, dude? You won. Congratulations. I don't know why he keeps harping about it.
Yesterday on offshore drilling, banning offshore drilling, will not stand. I will reverse it immediately. It'll be done immediately. And we will drill, baby, drill. We're going to be drilling in a lot of.
Okay, so this is where I do find it very disturbing in that we clearly have an increase in extreme weather. And I'll show you some charts. I have data. So this is the average annual temperature in California. It used to be in the high 50s. Then it got a little warmer in the early 1900s to be like kind of mid 50s. And then it kind of stayed in the mid 50s. And then ever since 1980, you could argue that's when we rolled back a lot of environmental protections. We had all this economic growth, but with it came increasing temperatures. And most scientists would say that the reason why the Earth is warming is because there's more and more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and that is trapping heat. We're turning into like a greenhouse. And most scientists aren't disputing this anymore. And this is an example of what happens when you have fires in LA County in 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. You had about 1.5 fire alerts in the first 2 weeks of the year. And you can see here what happened this year. And so anybody who's suggesting that, oh, if it were a Republican governor, they would have been able to handle this no problem. It's like, come on, guys, this is like a biblical event here. And what makes matters more frustrating is that rather than talking about, oh, so maybe we should be doing more about our human-caused climate change and human-caused extreme weather patterns. Instead, he's saying, drill, baby, drill. He wants more carbon released into the atmosphere. And I get it. It's a popular position because it's like, hey, everybody wants free gas. but it's not really free when you're causing massive droughts, fires, floods, God knows what else. This guy.
Of other locations, and the energy costs are going to come way down. They'll be brought down to a very low level, and that's going to bring everything else down. That's what caused it to go up, along with the ridiculous spending on the Green New scam. All this money, trillions of dollars. It's like throwing it right out the window, what they're doing. And they're trying to spend so much now. They're just taking money and giving it to anybody that wants it for any project at all, if it's certified under the Green New scam. And they don't work, and it's too expensive. And, they told me that we're going to do everything possible to make this transition to the new administration very smooth. It's not smooth because they're doing that. They're playing with the courts, as you know. They've been playing with the courts for 4 years, probably got me more votes because I got the highest number of votes ever gotten by a Republican by far.
Oh my God. Like you gotta agree that there is something seriously not well with this individual who is a sore winner. Like, you literally won the election and you keep talking about how everybody's against you. It's like, you know what? You won because you promised to secure the border, to get inflation under control, and to help the economy grow, right? Why do you keep talking about all of your lawsuits and all of the crimes you've committed? Like, the people gave you a pass. Consider yourself lucky and stop belly aching about an election you won.
Far, actually, by a lot. And, we had a great election, so I guess it didn't work. But even to this day, they're playing with the courts. They have their friendly judges that like to try and make everybody happy on the Democrat side. It's called lawfare. It's called weaponization of justice, and it's happened at a level nobody's ever seen before.
Says the guy who stacked the Supreme Court with his own lackeys who get free RVs and private jets. Anytime you see him criticizing someone else, you can be pretty much guaranteed like he's doing it much worse.
Before so many, I defeated deranged Jack Smith. He's a deranged individual. I guess he's on his way back to The Hague, and we won those cases. Those were the big
guys. You gotta admit, this does sound like Grandpa can't let anything go, and we're all at like the Thanksgiving table, and he's like just talking trash about that neighbor 2 doors down that he had some beef with like 30 years ago. It's so sad and pathetic.
Biggest ones, and the press made such a big deal out of them, but we did nothing wrong. We did nothing wrong on anything, and the people saw that. When they vote when a Republican, it's not easy for a Republican. When the Republican,
are we still talking about the last election? Oh my God! I want to say witch hunt. Like, get over it, dude. You won.
Wins the popular vote by millions, and wins all
millions and millions and millions. It's 2 million out of 160 million votes cast.
7 of the swing states. People said, well, he could win 4. We won all 7, and we won them by a lot. That tells you we won.
I will grant him that it is impressive that he won all the swing states.
That tells, and they've been watching this injustice. I call it the Injustice Department. What they've done is so bad. The whole world has watched that. And it took work, but it got me a lot of votes because when explained, we have a judge in New York who's a very crooked judge. I'm under a gag order. I can't even talk about aspects of the case that are the most vital aspects. I'm under a gag. Do you know that I'm the president-elect of the United States of America?
You've been instructed by a court not to attack the jury, the judge, and other people involved in the case. You're no different than anyone else in the American justice system. So just be a big boy and stop shooting your mouth off about cases that you're still involved in.
America. I'm a former very successful president. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We had borders that were sealed and beautiful. We had everything.
Actually, the greatest economy in the history of our country has been, frankly, under Biden, if you go by GDP and the stock market.
Everything was good. We had no wars. We defeated ISIS. We had no wars. Now I'm going into
He also promised to get us out of Afghanistan and didn't do it.
a world that's burning with Russia and Ukraine, with Israel. You took a look at that attack on October 7th, the attack on Israel.
Are you guys seeing this? He literally is still talking about not only the election he won, now he's talking about his first term. It's like as if like the Patriots win the Super Bowl and they're complaining about some playoff game 2 seasons ago. And it's like, idiot, you won, like celebrate, and then now focus on solving problems and doing your job, man. Do your job.
Israel, with the horrible way they got out, not the fact that they got out. I would have been out before them, but we would have been out of Afghanistan with dignity and strength as opposed to Europe and Middle East. And we're very, very 5,000 soldiers. They would have.
He says we would have been out of Afghanistan. Who was the president for 4 years prior to Biden? Who was the president who promised that he would get us out of Afghanistan in the first year he was president? I think it was Donald Julius Trump. So to complain that, oh, I would have gotten us out of Afghanistan, it's like, well, you were president for 4 years and you said it was easy, that you could do it like in 24 hours. Unbelievable, this guy.
Would have been gobbled up with 2 armies. We had one army, 300,000. We had another one, 500,000 or 600,000.
Okay, you know what, guys? I can't deal with this guy. He's just so maddening. He is so maddening. He's so maddening. I'm going to do one thing, though. He and the MAGA cinematic universe have been talking a lot about the California fires, which is a true, massive, biblical weather tragedy. And I'm sure there's plenty of blame to go around in terms of how might we respond better to these things. But to say like, oh, the fires were caused by environmentally policies designed to protect the environment is just the most absurd thing I've ever heard. And it has been fact checked. So we're going to go over some specific details so people don't just say, oh, Newsom wanted to save the smelt and didn't mind burning down LA. It's not that simple. I'm going to go into it in a second. But before I do that, I need to thank the people that make this channel possible. And that is our channel members. And so we're going to start with our nerd cabinet. And let me share the screen and put on my music. Hold on. All right. Let's give some shout outs to the Nerds for Humanity. We have at the cabinet level, Soldier One and Parth. Thank you, Soldier One. Thank you, Parth. Soldier One's been supporting this channel for almost 5 years. Freaking amazing. Then we have our Nerd Congress, Kristen Slevin, Bike, and Zig PC. Actually, Kristen is at her 60-month mark for supporting this channel. 5 years even. At the city council level, we have Gene, David, DK, Jackalego, Mr. History, Mona, Yang, Dean, Galessa, Jay Perrin, Dana, Jason, Vaughn, Daniel, Mickey, Unkiyu, Jackson, and Jeremy. And then we got a bunch of registered nerds. It only costs $1.99 a month. Helps us cover our podcasting, streaming software, thumbnail software, a bunch of other things. And I will scroll through them, and these are in the order of how long they've been a member. So thank you to all of you. You guys rock. Okay, so now we're going to do a little bit of fact checking. and then I will highlight some of the chats as well. All right, let's go to fact checking. Okay, because I literally heard this crap from my MAGA family. So I know that the Trump kind of falsehoods and misleading information is spreading across Telegram and Twitter and Truth Social and all that other, the sort of MAGA social media. Trump claimed that Biden is leaving him no money in FEMA. FEMA's disaster relief fund was depleted last year by major disasters. Biden did sign a bill in December that replenished the fund. The balance of the fund is $27 billion. So to say there's nothing left is a little bit too much. And remember that Biden actually requested $40 billion, but the all-knowing and all-wise Congress decided not to give it. So that is a load of BS from Trump saying that Biden is leaving him no money in FEMA. In all caps. This sounds just like him, right? This freaking piece of work. Okay. Trump blamed Democratic California Governor Gavin Newsom, claiming Newsom refused to sign the water restoration declaration put before him that would have allowed millions and millions of gallons of water from excess rain and snow melt from the north to flow daily into many parts of California, including the areas that are currently burning in a virtually apocalyptic way. There was no water restoration declaration for him to sign, a senior fellow at the Water Policy Center and California think tank said in a Wednesday interview. There was never a water restoration declaration in California that governor refused to sign, says Brent Haddad, an environmental studies professor at UC Santa Cruz. In 2020, he did mount a legal challenge to a Trump plan to deliver more water from Northern California to farmers in the Central Valley, saying he was seeking to protect fish species close to extinction. Trump's presidential transition team said Thursday that this is what Trump was referring to. But contrary to Trump's assertion, this was not a declaration for Newsom to sign or not. And critically, as we'll explain in the fact-checking line below, experts say there's no connection between this long-running policy battle and the current fires. In the same social media post, Trump continued that Newsom refused to sign the supposed declaration because the governor wanted to protect a worthless fish called smelt. Trump continued, now the ultimate price is being paid. I will demand that this incompetent governor allow beautiful, clean, fresh water to flow into California, all caps. He is to blame for all of this. On top of it, no water for fire hydrants, not firefighting planes. Fact. Experts on California water policy said that there is no basis for linking the existence of the SoCal fires in the firefighting effort to the water that is kept in the north to protect the smelt and other ecosystems. Southern California does not have a shortage of water for fighting fires. Mount said Trump's claims in the social media post don't make any sense and that none of it is true. The debate related to water in the northern delta has nothing to do with the fires in Southern California. Nothing. Whatever the merits or flaws of Newsom's position around the smelt in northern delta, all but 3 of the state's major reservoirs are filled at or above historical levels. It is true there were dry hydrants in the Pacific Palisades area, and that is related to local logistical factors by the area's mountainous geography and the fact that the reservoir was closed for repairs, not the absence of water. At no time was water scarcity in general an issue. So TLDR, whenever you see Trump saying something, 90% chance it's complete BS and 10% chance it's a half truth. So there you are, man. I know I usually have longer live streams, but I haven't talked about Trump in so long, and just the thought of him as president and leading our country through future crises is just it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. I realized Kamala wasn't perfect, but how the hell did this guy become the next president of the United States? We're in trouble. All right. Well, there is a positive scenario. I don't think it's going to happen. But imagine a scenario where Trump focuses on securing the border, reforming immigration, including allowing American companies to hire more highly skilled workers, reforming the asylum process so it's not unlimited and doesn't go on for 10 years before you get a trial, and that you can apply for asylum from whatever country you're in. That would be great. And then maybe make sure that they're sensible, but not too much, not overdoing AI regulation. And then maybe cutting wasteful spending in the Pentagon. Imagine if he did those three things: border, sensible regulation reform, and cutting massive wasteful spending in the Pentagon. That'd be pretty amazing. I don't think he's going to do that. I think instead he's going to want to talk about buying Greenland and blaming Democrats for anything that goes wrong, and talking about how he was so persecuted and how he won by millions and millions. Let me know in the comments if you think that there's a chance Trump will go down as a historic president that had an amazing second term. I'd love to be, wrong on it, but I don't think he's going to do that. But that is a scenario. I'll wait to see what you guys say in the comments. Bye, nerds.